Okay, system of equations. So here we go. 2x squared plus y squared equals 28. And the other one is 3y squared minus 42 equals x squared. Putting these equations together, we're going to figure out how to solve them. Okay, here's my first idea. I have to pick a method. So what looks the best? Should I substitute, eliminate, or graph? There's a very obvious one on this question. Eliminate is the choice, yeah. Okay, you have no idea how to graph that. Substituting, that looks crazy. Okay, eliminating. So when you eliminate, you need to do column stacks. So guess what? X squareds need to be lined up. Y squareds. Okay, so I'm going to do some maneuvering here. We'll keep this first one. That's fine. We'll keep it. Okay, so let's move. Let's move stuff around on this one. Okay, so I would like the x squared to actually be over there. So would you agree that we should also change the sign on the move? Okay, I like 3y squared on that left-hand side, but I have to make sure I have a sign there. It's a plus 3y squared. And 42, the value that, I'm going to make a move because it's going to have to move over to the right side. So moving it. Okay, so that's the first part of eliminating. Everything has to be organized and stacked. So now I have to do some kind of multiplying to get rid of something because I don't have them set up to be the same. So I think I would like to do a double on this because then I can kind of work with 2x squareds. So again, I'm actually going to keep the whole top doubling, and you got to do it to everything like candy to kids. Make sure everything, that's a very easy mistake to make because it's kind of something you forget to do. Double, double, double. Okay, so that was the process, making sure it was stacked, making sure I move like that. Okay, I'm going to do an add to these because they're opposites, so I add. So gone, 7y squareds equals 112. Divide by 7, 16. Y equals, and one of these, this is going to be my answer. So I bolded it. And what are you going to do to get 100% for your answer here? Plus or minus, because I could square the plus 4 or I could square the negative 4. They both would work. Okay, instantly, when you have one thing, plugins happen, right? Okay, so I'm going to pick one of them. I'm going to pick this top one. Okay, so I'm picking that. Okay, so I'm going to plug in y squared, and you know what? I'm actually just going to look straight here. Okay, I'm not going to worry about 4 squared, la la la. I'm just going to plug in y squared right here was written. So I can replace that with 16. Okay, because guess what? I always get people who make mistakes. Negative 4 squared. Now all of a sudden it turns to negative 16 because they've typed it wrong. Okay, algebra. Minus 16. Divide by 2. Okay, now I'm going to challenge you to write this answer in the correct way to get 100%. Okay, first thing I was looking for is that you could have squared the plus or you could have squared a minus value. What's that?
Just keep the square root.
Keep the square root. Okay, it's not a good square root, so I leave it. Okay, what did we do here? 16 was a good square root, so we moved it. Okay, good. And then here's my last question. I had 2 to go through. Oh. Okay, system of equations. So your first thing is to figure out what method you want. Substitute, eliminate, or graph method. Okay, I would probably pick substitution on this. Elimination is not the worst either, but substitution would probably be a little bit easier. Okay. Which variable do you think we could make the same? We have to have something the same as something else to make a replacement for. Which letter could we make the same? I think I could get y to be the same. But what's the move I would have to do that? I would need to get this away. I could do that quite easily. So I'm going to go y equals 2x plus 14. So guess what? Now I have a y and a y to make that replacement. Okay? So did you see that little bit of a step so that I could get there? Just get something alone. If something's alone, and now I can make that replacement. I only moved the 14, so the 14's got the sign change. But the 2x is left alone, right? Is that what you were thinking? Okay, so there's my substitution. Okay, now the rest is just the algebra process. Okay, so with algebra, as soon as you see x squareds and x's going around, equals 0. So there's the boss. We're leaving it alone, so let's go with a minus 2x and a minus 14, and then I can get that 0 on that side now. So it should be written x squared minus 5x minus 24. Okay, now we look, does it factor as a, well, this one's a simple trinomial. Make sure you still recognize your types. Could be a GCF sometimes, right? Still identifying difference of squares, GCF, simples. And if it doesn't factor, we don't quit. There would be a formula we could use. Okay. We are at the first step where we say we know a variable. So what do we do once we know a variable? We start the plug-in method. So you're going to actually have to do this differently, where you plug in a -3, and then again you're going to have to plug in an 8 then, and those are different things. Okay? And it does not matter where you plug it in. You could go 2x plus 14, or you could do this. I'm going to say, hey, this looks like a lot easier of math. So 2 times -3 is -6. -6 plus 14 gets me to 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 14 is 30.